Hey guys, my name's Sam and welcome to the Driving Home Reviews podcast. This is a podcast that features mine and my girlfriend Hannah's unfiltered, spoiler-filled thoughts about films we've just seen on the drive home. Just a heads up, there's a lot of strong language, full spoilers, obviously, and a lot of comments about what we see on the road, so we hope you enjoy. For this episode we didn't go anywhere, we just loaded up the Green Knight on Amazon Prime because, we did. Basically the film stars Dev Patel as I'm going to butcher the name, Sir Gawain, I think, who's the nephew of King Arthur, who's basically a bit of just an idiot who bumbles his way through life. I don't really want to say anymore because you hear what we think about it anyway. Not a lot to say, but yeah. So enjoy.
Was that a waste of time?
In a word, yes. In another 2 words, absolutely yes.
Wow. I don't understand.
I just don't give a shit.
I don't understand how they can be so hit and miss.
What, A24?
Yeah. The fuck?
Someone needs to,
What the fuck was that?
just rein them in just a little bit.
Yeah, like...
Because fuck off. Just fuck off with your bullshit. Ugh.
Wow.
Because that was basically Dev Patel just stumbling around for 2 hours, wasn't it?
I was gonna say
And just being a bit of a not even being a bit of a shit. It's just shit, wasn't it? I just didn't give a fuck about him. I was like,
yeah.
I think it all started when he did the dumbest fucking thing ever by just not listening to what the big tree said to him. Literally, the challenge was, if one of your blokes can hit me, and then I'll leave it for a year,
And then in a year's time,
and then I'll come, and then
come find me.
Yeah, he comes find me, and then
I'll do the same to you.
Yeah. Sweet. You know what I'd do? I'd like cut his little finger off, maybe.
Yeah, or toe. Or...
You know what usually landing a blow is in like Olympic Taekwondo or like judo?
No.
Just a punch.
Yeah.
Or like a hit. Seen it in Cobra Kai. They get their flags up when they kick him in the chest.
Yeah.
Punch him in the fucking chest. Punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my, like, you're such a fucking wimp. Like...
I know. Or just, cut him. You don't have to cut anything off.
You literally... I was like, okay, he's going to have a little fight with him.
Yeah.
A little bit of a ching, ching, ching. Like, a little to do with some swords and a big axe.
Yeah. Oh.
And if he'd done that... Well, no, because he was still an awful person. Well, it wasn't even... The thing was, he wasn't an awful person. It was just...
He was just a person. He wasn't a knight. He wasn't... I don't know.
The way everyone was just...
An average Joe, wasn't he?
And everyone's like, oh, so... And I was like, have I missed something?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's like this whole... Was that the point? That shit gets blown out of proportion by people who weren't there?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. That guy was talking about it, wasn't he? He said, oh, yeah, he's...
What, when he was in the pub?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was like, oh, yeah, he took his own axe and hacked his head off. And I was like, well, that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So was the point of this film fake news is bad? Because...
I don't think... I don't know. I don't know what the point of this film was.
No. It's just like...
I've
You don't really have to be good at anything
No.
other than being a bit of a coward. and you just sort of bumble. It felt like a Muppets movie.
Life. Yeah.
Like, you could swap Dev Patel for Kermit the Frog,
Yeah.
and you probably would have got to the same ending. But with Kermit, it would have been better.
Yeah.
Because they were about as animated as each other.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it started off all right.
Yeah.
And then it just went so downhill as soon as it was him on his own in the wild.
And what, you mean he walked for an hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah. And the only redeeming thing about that was the fox.
Yeah. Fox.
The fox was my favourite character.
Fox, well cute. By all means. Like
make a film about him, please. He could have been the main character and I would have been much more invested.
Bumped into slightly famous people in weird interactions that were just a bit shit, and I just didn't really because he went into one interaction.
He bumps into Winifred first, didn't he?
No. He bumped into the child, didn't he?
What child?
The fucking boy who was like, "Oh, excuse me, mister. I'm here to pick up the fucking battle stuff."
True,
and then he just went, "Oh, it's down there by the river. It's a day away." And then he was like, "Well, where the fuck is it?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, could you not be a bit more charitable and I'll help you?" And he went, "Right, here's a quid." And he was like, "Oh, fuck you." So he mugged him later, which is quite funny. Quite funny, actually. You know, they're like him and his mum and his sister. I don't know what that fucking situation was about, because he was like, it felt like he was about 16, and then the two women were like middle-aged.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, and then, you know, when he was like, "Oh, sorry," they're all like, "Oh, sorry. And I was like, it reminded me, you know, In Betweeners, you know, and he's like, who you calling a wanker? And he's like, "Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, God, I just didn't give a flying fuck about that film. It's just so
boring.
Dull.
Yeah, that was dull.
Because all it was just Dev Patel walking around asking questions for fucking 2 hours and 10 minutes. Bumbling in. Yeah, like I said. Just because I'm pretty sure that kid that he ran into, I keep calling him a kid. Was he a kid? I guess he must have been. Because I thought that I thought that was, you know, in Dunkirk, the boy on the boat, who, it's a bit of a stretch. I thought it was him, but I don't know if it was him, because he was a boy in that film, and I'm like, he can't still be a boy, because this is like 5 years after that.
No, I think he could have been like early 20s. That kid.
Yeah, very true.
18,
but he seemed like
20s.
I don't know if it's obviously because the only time you saw him next to Dev Patel was on a horse, so he looked small.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why.
It was the Bieber haircut.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very childlike.
Yeah. Especially because everyone else in this film had massive beards.
Mm.
So it was like, right, okay,
he must be a child.
He's but a boy.
He doesn't have a beard like all these other men do.
Yeah. Yeah, so he sort of wobbled his way out of that situation. Well, that's it. I feel like everything with this film, the situation just sort of sorted itself out. You know, he was a bit of a shit. Well, he wasn't even really a bit of a shit. It was like, just wasn't very generous. And then he got mugged.
Yeah.
And then he stumbled into a random house.
Mm.
That was where Winifred showed up. Who, as soon as I saw her on that X-ray thing, you know, when we paused it,
yeah,
I was like, not this bitch. I was like, didn't you piss me off enough in fucking Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Like,
I don't think she did piss you off enough.
like, I was like, why are you back? What annoying thing are you gonna do now? And surprisingly, she was just like, "Oh, can you fetch my head, please?"
Yeah.
And he did.
Cool. Like, okay.
Went underwater, saw some red lights for some reason.
Yeah.
Got the skull and was
the skull.
again very haphazardly, like, coming out of the lake, and he just drops it on the rock.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry,
And the door
it's
just like, comes off.
yeah. I was like, it's only a skull,
Yeah. Like, she wants it back in one piece. I know she didn't specify that she wanted it back in one piece.
But she doesn't want it smashed. Like, it doesn't want ground
I
bones.
felt like it was implied.
Yeah. Like, at least the guy who cut her head off had the decency to kick it in the lake.
Yeah.
Not smash it up first and stamp on it and do whatever. Like, at least...
Shoot it in.
Yeah, and then... Yeah, he stuck her head back on. For some reason.
Yeah, what did she say?
Oh, the Green Knight's someone you know. Or something.
To me, it sounded like she said reunite it with someone you know. But then when you said that, I was like, oh, that would make way more sense. But then it didn't, because the Green Knight wasn't someone that he knew. Unless it was his mum the whole time, and I'm just baffled. Because otherwise, like, what was the point in his mum doing that whole ritual thing at the beginning? And then the Green Knight appeared, when the thing...
Yeah.
The flame...
Was that meant to be, like, the mum putting him through a test? So she created this whole Green Knight thing because she knew he'd, like, chop his head off because he was an idiot. Yeah. And then be like, oh, I'm great. I'm like the best thing since sliced bread. And then she was like, yeah, I'll send him on his way. He'll do his stuff. He'll talk to some big fucking giants for some reason.
I forgot about that as well.
But in whale noises.
Yeah, because the fox...
Sweet.
The fox was singing at them.
But like, that made sense. The fox howling.
Oh, yeah.
But then...
That was like...
Whoa! I was like, what?
They don't need to howl back.
No.
Use your words.
And then...
Because that's why, as well, like... Dev Patel asked her for a lift, kind of thing, and then she goes to grab him and he like flinches away. And it's like, well, don't ask her to carry you or whatever.
Could I ride on your shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, don't.
And then when she goes to pick you up, you flinch away. Like, mixed messages much. Jeez.
Such a fucking coward.
Innit?
And then...
Little pussy.
And then he ran into Joel Edgerton and... That guy, I'm a fucking 100% certain.
It's the same one.
It's the same girl.
Just with long hair.
Yeah, his like...
I think it was.
His like, I don't know.
Because at the end when she was old.
Yeah, it looked like her.
It looked like her.
Because I suppose like his chambermaid girlfriend or whatever who was just like slamming on the side. And then there she was like looking regal as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Or who also somehow managed to develop the technology to take photographs.
I was done with that.
Cool. Magic?
Magic, of course.
Is there magic in this? Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
How much? Who knows?
I think it comes under the realm of the witchcraft and sorcery.
Sure. Why not? And then yeah. What was the point of the belt again? So his mum put that thing in there.
Yeah, she lined it with
that little
magic
rune
stuff.
Yeah, that like little thing she was carving.
Yeah.
And what was it like?
I think it was to stop him from being struck down or something. I'm sure that's the phrase they said.
Yeah, there was a. I just kept trying to remembering it, and I was like,
it didn't work because he got fucking mugged. The first human encounter he had, he got struck down off his horse, didn't he?
Fucking idiot, didn't he?
So
did he just get down?
Yeah, he did.
He just got off. Like
the woman was there on her own, and then she like pulled the knife out, didn't she? And he was like, "Oh shit!"
Whoopsie.
And then, but yeah, like the belt didn't really work then. But then you insisted on wearing it the whole rest of the time.
Well, yeah, because I guess if it meant that he wasn't going to get struck down.
I guess they mean in terms of getting your head chopped off.
Yeah.
above the waist. I'm sure that's what it said. Wasn't it like above the belt? You wouldn't get struck down or something. It was something like that.
Yeah. But then the boy ran off with the axe and the belt.
Mm.
And then, how did he get the axe back? I can't remember.
It was just there. Wasn't it there when he went to see Winifred?
Probably.
Was it there? It just appeared again. I'm sure it was in that house.
Yeah, because I remember being like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, it was just like.
It was just there, up. Yeah. Or was it when he saw Joel Edgerton with the big beard? No, that was when he ran out the house naked, and I was like, don't forget the fucking axe.
Yeah.
Idiot.
The axe was already there then. He'd already got it back.
Yeah, sorry, I was just. I guess we'll get to it. But yeah, that whole, like, his cummy belt.
Yeah.
That's pretty grim. No need for that, really.
No.
Didn't really get the whole point of it.
No.
She was like... Was the whole thing, like, she was, like, trying to embarrass... Because he was so scared that he needed the, like, belt to, like... You know... face the night. And then she was like, I'm just going to, like, humiliate him and, like, make him come everywhere. And he's going to take the belt and, like... Do you know what I mean? Like, sort of like a shame thing. Because then she was like, mate, you ain't no fucking knight. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the point. Or what that whole scene thing was. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Because then I was going to say, obviously...
I felt like she was trying to prove that he didn't need the belt.
Yeah.
The belt wouldn't help him more.
Yeah. Because I feel like, you know, at the end, when he goes sees his green knight pal.
Yeah.
And then he's about to chop his head off. And then he just carries on being a fucking wimp. Even though, again, if you just hit him like a normal person.
Yeah, it wouldn't have had to.
He would have punched you back, and then you'd been like, because he literally was like, yeah, so I'll hit you land your blow, I'll land my blow, and then we'll go off with like friendship and respect.
Yeah.
Buzzing, see you later, mate.
That was
like, bye.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he was just like, oh, don't cut my head off, please. And as I was there, I was like, you know, when he sort of like walked out and he was like, oh, my horse is there. And I was like, you've had your head cut off, haven't you? And this is just you, I don't know, seeing your life flash before your eyes sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, you're definitely dead. And then I was like, okay, you're back.
Not dead.
And then it carried on. And I was like, I swear to God, I was like, if they cut back to this now, and he's not had his head chopped off, I'm going to be pissed off.
Fuming.
Because I was like, if it just ends where he you realise that he is a shit king because he's fucking a wimp.
Yeah.
He's not good at anything, really.
Garbage.
Let it end there. Fine.
Yeah.
Yep, cool. You know, that's the moral of the story, is that, you know, he's like, you know, his reputation preceded him, even though he didn't actually do anything. Fake news, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then he was like, I better cut my head off, actually, because I've just seen my life in the future, and I'm turning out to be a bit of a dickhead.
Yeah, and I don't want it.
And then he's like, no, all right then. And then he goes, oh, actually, no, mate, I'll change my mind again. And then he takes off his cummy belt, his cum rag, and then the Green Knight's like, well done, mate. You passed the test. Bye.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, you know, when you said, is the Green Knight his mum? And I'm like, probably. Because she gave him that belt to, like, maybe she was like, oh, you know, you need to break free from my, like, controlling ways, or, like, you know, you need to be a man. And, you know, to be a man, you greet death without your mummy's fucking blanket wrapped around you or whatever.
Yeah, you need to be ready for it, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way. But I think he killed. Yeah, I think he killed him anyway.
Yeah,
didn't he? Because he was literally like, no, let's
off with your head then.
Off with your head.
End of the film.
Also, how did he have 2 children? Because it's like it played one scenario and then it kind of rewinded and played a different one.
I think he.
Even though it was at the end of.
Yeah, like just before he.
Because he had the son, and then the son died, and then
suddenly his new wife.
Him in that room with his wife and the family, and someone was trying to break in, and she sat there with a daughter, and they look younger than they did in like the scene before, you know, when he was being pelted with like horse shit, and he looked well old.
They didn't really do a good job with the old man makeup, did they?
No.
Because all they did was stick like a couple of grey hairs in Dev Patel's beard, and that was it. And I was like, but this makes it seem like, because I was like, okay, he's had his son, and then it was like, his son's like, he looked at least 20 when he died. So I was like, you'd have a lot more grey hairs and probably a lot more wrinkles.
I don't know, he did look quite old. I thought.
Nah, I think it was a bit shit. I was like, Like, I just mean it could have been a bit better. It just felt like, because it felt like, you know, the first woman he got pregnant when she was old, it just felt like, it didn't feel like prosthetics. It just looked like someone had gone, because she didn't move, did she? She just stood there like.
No.
So it just felt like they'd gone like, right, if she looked older, we'd put like a wrinkle here, a wrinkle there. And I feel like it was sort of the same with Death, because at the end, all he did was, when he was old, he just sat on his horse. And then he sat on the throne, and then it did that big spiral thing again. And I was like, love the animation. You're so, Death Patel is so stoic. Or boring.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
That was dull. I'm like, did we just not get it? Did I not understand some like
oh yeah, but you know what film
deeper meaning?
You know, the film nerds are gonna all be like, oh my god, it was the best thing I've ever seen because it's A24 and I fucking love it. Oh yeah. And it's like,
I can't deny it did classic. It did look great, I think. But I'm like, the content doesn't redeem
match
it, to be honest, because it's boring.
I'm going to say something quite controversial.
Go on then, honey.
I didn't even think it looked that great at times.
No.
There were some bits where I was like, this looks alright. But then every other time, like, I know this is obviously going to sound really fucking like dumb, but there were some times where it just felt like it was all a set. And I just wasn't like, oh my god, amazing. And I was like, it's just Dev Patel walking through forests and hills. Why doesn't this feel real?
Yeah.
Because it just felt like, because you know that first bit where he's walking away from the castle and it's that really long shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just don't believe any of this is real. I was like, it just feels like the horse is on a treadmill.
Yeah.
And like the background CGI just looked a bit shit.
Interesting.
And then it just didn't feel like that. It felt like it was trying to be really artsy fartsy with all like the colour changes and stuff. You know? And I just didn't think it looked particularly great on quite a lot of things. And I don't know if that's because, I don't know, I'd read some stuff and they're like, oh my god, visually stunning. And I was like, is it? Like, like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I think it's just because, I don't know, whenever...
So I was going to turn to you and say, like, oh, do you think this was filmed, like, in lockdown, like, in fucking Scotland or something? So I was like, it looked real to me.
Yeah, like not everything didn't look real, but there was just some like it just didn't. Like I said, I know it sounds really dumb, but it just felt like, you know, that first shot where it was like the barn, and then it cut away, and the barn was on fire. Why was the barn on fire again? Who knows? Because I thought they were under attack. They weren't. It was just Christmas Day and the barn was on fire, wasn't it? Because Dev Patel just woke up and they were like, "It's Jesus Day" or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, I thought you were under attack," and that's why, like, I was like, "Wake up, Dev Patel, because
you're under attack.
Like, your town is on fire.
You need to protect your town."
But it just felt like,
no, it's just Christmas.
It's because usually when you have like something like a fantasy thing, you usually see like a village or like a lived-in castle.
Yeah.
Or just something. But this was just like at the beginning, you know, it was just it just felt like it was like a stage. They'd built one like village hut, green screen in the background, and then it was Dev Patel walking through like an old set of Game of Thrones.
It did feel a bit like Game of Thrones.
But like it didn't have any of like there wasn't anything distinct about it, because he's just walking through some stone halls and they're really dark, so you can't really see, like, you know, it didn't feel like I mean, yeah, fucking some history nerds would be like,
well, actually, this is actually the most accurate thing you've ever seen, because this is what castles actually look like.
And I'm like, oh, fuck off, I don't care. Like, sorry for liking a bit of colour and a bit of like identity in my castles, in my made up films. Shocking, I know. But like, you know, he sort of like wandered through there, and then he went home, and then he got ready, and then he went to his was it his uncle?
Yeah, I think so.
Who was King Arthur, right? Went to his room. Yeah. And it felt like that was because there was that one shot of Dev Patel walk, like, you know, he was like climbing along a wall and then jumped across.
Yeah.
And there was no one.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. That's just a really basic set you've made. And then it was like, right, I'm going to go into more dark rooms, more dark corridors. Like, it just didn't feel like I said, I know obviously quite hard to do it, but it just didn't feel like a lived-in world or castle or a house or anything, because all we saw in the castle, in the corridors, was empty spaces and darkness.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I guess that was the whole point of the shots, because everything was all symmetrical and all looked at it, all fitted within the frame perfectly. You know, to accommodate these long fucking pan shots as it goes around the whole room. But like, just have a bit of like, because you take a film like Midsummer, for example, where it's like, it's a field with about 8 buildings in it. But I feel like each building was unique, and you got like a sense of stuff from it.
Yeah.
You got like a sense of character from that world. It was just stone in a room and it just felt like a set. Like, it didn't draw me in. And then because the only other times he met people were inside, like it might, like you said, it might be cause COVID, lockdown, developed, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but even then, I'm sure, like, you know, sex education was done in lockdown. And that still felt like a real school.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it just felt like there was just something missing, because it was like, right, okay, fair enough if he's not a great guy, but, you know, you can't show him in one pub where it's just one bloke talking about his legend or whatever, about his great feats or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just show him where his mum's like, did he even say a word to his mum? at the beginning. I know he did, didn't he? Because she was like, "Oh, you smell like you've been in the brothel or whatever," and he was like, "Oh, I haven't." And she was like, "You have."
He said he'd been at mass.
Oh, mass, that was it. Yeah. Oh, because we were like, "Oh, midnight mass." But
and then she said about drinking
the communion or whatever.
Yeah, what do we call it?
Yeah, it just felt really flat.
But I don't know how homely you can make a stone castle feel or look.
Not homely.
Not homely,
just gives it an identity. Because it was just like, I don't give a fuck. Like I said, it just didn't feel like a world. It just felt like Dev Patel walked into this room with... Cause I feel like, script was probably about 20 pages. Because no one said anything. No one talked about anything. Other than Dev Patel asking like 20 questions.
Yeah.
Every time.
That's
and then it
another
was...
thing as well, that kind of talking just does my head in.
Yeah. It's like...
I don't know what you're saying. I think I know. I think I get a gist of what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But some of it's being lost in translation, which is making me...
Also, stop
care.
whispering.
Yeah, it was
Speak properly.
Quiet, wasn't it? The fact we literally had to like double the volume on our TV.
Yeah, it was like what, 48 or something.
Yeah.
Usually 20's too loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Oh, that's a big one.
crikey. But yeah, but like it just like there was. I just feel like there wasn't an identity for the world of the film. I feel like, yeah, okay, Dev Patel's walking through a forest in an orange cloak. If you show me that scene, showed me a picture of that, I'd be like, Green Knight. He's got a little orange fox next to him. He's got a big green axe. Sorted. Any other shot, wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Because it just, it just felt like he was just going from one set. It literally felt like he was going from one set, and then they recorded him walking to the other set, and then that was it. And then it was like copy paste. Because it was, what were the sets? Castle, battlefield. Well, it's just
outside.
That was the route, and then it was Winfred's house. The weird sex cult house.
The other castle.
And then
the Green Knights.
Alleyway.
Chapel, even though. I mean,
how would anyone ever find that?
Yeah.
Because it was like up the river, behind all the ivy, just middled in somewhere.
Yeah, because did he say it was 6 watts along?
I swear he said it was 6 days away.
Or did he say 6 days?
He said, like at the beginning, I'm sure he said it was like 6. I mean, it could be that I was getting it wrong, and I was just
6 something.
And I was just like, Dev Patel's really incompetent in this role, isn't he? Because I was like, just like, that's a 6-day ride. I'm pretty sure he gave some quite clear instructions how to get there. Because he gave quite clear instructions for the rest of the game. And God, yeah, I just...
So how did he get there in time on foot and fucking stumbling and bumbling around like he did? And stopping off at all these people's houses, like...
Maybe he left 6 months in advance because he knew he was so shit he wouldn't be able to get there.
Because I felt like he was gone for a really long time, and then when he fake went back and they looked at him like, oh my God, it's you.
Yeah, I just feel like his mum must have had a bigger part to play in it. But surely she was like...
I think she was...
She was the fox for definite, wasn't she?
It. Yeah, she was definitely the fox.
Because she was like, leave that fucking belt.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes me think, like, that was the main test, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need, like, you need to go in, like, headstrong, confident, And obviously he wasn't that. But then him just being like, yeah, fuck it, kill me then, go on. Like, yes.
Well, I've got my belt, so I'm alright.
But
because then when the fox was like, didn't it say come home with me or come home
yeah,
to me?
yeah.
Or something like that. I was like, that is definitely his mum.
Yeah. I just didn't feel like there was any stakes in it.
No.
Because I was like, I know he's going to go there and he's obviously going to get his head cut off. But that's entirely his fault.
But yeah, that's
because
it's his decision.
He knew the rules. Like,
also, the number of people that were like, I swear, quite a few people were like, just don't go.
Yeah.
Like, what's the worst? Because that could happen.
Oh, but when the Green Knight woke up and went, is it Christmas?
Yeah.
And he was like, yep.
He's like,
and
oh,
he was
you're
like,
here.
Oh, all right, cool. Let's cut your head off.
Let's do this then.
Because, like, if he just kept the axe,
yeah,
what would he have done?
Yeah.
He's going to come after, like, probably try and come after you, but just go to a different castle.
Yeah. Just have a proper fight with him.
Tell your guards.
I don't think that night. I think the Green Knight knows how to have a proper fight.
No. Tell your guards. Oh, if you see a dude that looks like a tree,
yeah,
don't let him in, please.
Yeah, don't let him in.
Or hit him with a few arrows.
Yeah.
Or set him on fire. It's a tree.
It's a magic tree, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Witchcraft, sorcery.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe we should have read the book that it's based on.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't even want to.
No, me neither.
It's not.
If it's that.
Yeah,
in
it's
book form. Then no, thank you.
I mean, the book will probably be clearer, and the bloke who wrote it was like, "Oh well, everyone knows this." What is it with Dev Patel starring in these fucking films about book characters? The fucking. He was in that Charles Dickinson one, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, David Copperfield.
David Copperfield.
He was in that, wasn't he?
I didn't like that. Didn't like that either. That was weird.
That was different though. You didn't like that because it was period drama, and that is not your cup of tea. It was also a little bit weird, but
yeah,
I think the genre of it didn't help.
No, I mean, if it was pretty straightforward, I'd have been. Like, if it was just,
it was confusing,
and not even like story wise. It was just like in terms of characters doing dumb shit. It was pretty much on par with this. So I'm like, Dev, go back to your lion and stuff.
Come on, Dev. Get your shit together. A24, get your shit together as well. Like, you've gone a bit too...
You've gone too far the opposite way.
Too far. Like, what are you doing? I know you're supposed to be this, like, big, outrageous, like, ooh, we're so different. But, like, that was just too much.
Make it a bit better.
That was too
much. You know what? Because I know before we watched this movie, like, should we give the Vivitch a go?
Yeah.
I don't really want to.
Maybe not. Maybe we were right the first time.
Yeah. Because I do think there is... No, I don't. Because I remember there was someone I watched on YouTube where they were like, oh yeah, usually I watch a film like twice. Just to confirm my opinion of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get that for some films where you're not sure. I wouldn't watch that again.
No.
Like... No. I just kind of felt like I knew what was going to happen. So I was like, I know he's going to go there. I know he's going to be like a little bitch about it. About getting his head cut off.
Yeah.
Because he's not been a standout character. And it didn't even feel like he really learnt his lesson.
He didn't. There was no...
On the whole journey.
Yeah.
Up until the end, where it was like, where they did the Twilight thing. But like... But like to the extreme.
Oh, it wasn't real.
Because it was just like, as I was watching that, I was like, this guy doesn't deserve any of what he's just had. And I was like, how the fuck did he get King Arthur's throne ahead of like, oh god, what's
his wife? Or
no, just what's his night pals called? It's King Arthur, Galahad. That one? Or I think I might be getting confused with Kingsman.
That's Kingsman. I don't know. Isn't the lady like Gwendolyn or something?
Yeah.
And then there's the guy that gets with Gwendolyn. His best mate.
Yeah, him. Lancelot.
Lancelot.
Yeah. I thought he'd probably be king. Better than him.
Yeah.
But then I guess because it calls family, innit?
Yeah.
Very loosely family. Like nephews.
Yeah.
Is that how it
It
works?
doesn't really go to nephews, does it?
No, that'll usually be like, that's a stretch.
But unless they just didn't have any kids.
Yeah, I mean, they were both very sickly.
They were, weren't they? They did not look good.
They didn't look good from the start.
No.
So I was like,
These people look sick.
yeah. Old fucking, what's her tits from Game of Thrones? Liza. Yeah. With a titty sucking boy.
Yeah. She did not look very well.
No. I mean, in the nicest way. I don't know if she ever looks well. I think she's just one of those people. But yeah,
disappointed.
In hindsight, I wish we'd watched another 2 episodes of Midnight Mass.
Me too. That is 2 hours and 10 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
I'll never get back.
It's very rare that we'll come out of saying... It's very rare we'll say that we don't wish we hadn't watched that.
Yeah.
I mean, the last film I thought that I was like, this is a waste of time was In the Earth.
Yeah.
And that was like, what, back in like May?
Even then, I was still like...
I was still invested in it.
I was still like, I don't know, I was not excited, but...
I just wanted to know what was going to happen.
I was a little bit tense because I was like, oh, like, are they going to get out? Are they not going to get out? Like, are they going to kill this man or not?
I actually gave a shit.
And the doctor lady who was kind of in on it, but kind of
yeah.
not. And it was all like, oh, what's going to happen?
It was, yeah. It kept me guessing. Whereas this, I was
just like...
Because I feel like In the Earth,
he can die, he can live, I don't give
a shit.
A shit.
Yeah. I feel like In the Earth, I was very pissed off by the end, and quite a lot of it, but at least it elicited a reaction, you know? So that's something. Whereas this, I'm just like, I'm
not even mad at this. I'm just like, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. It was just so like blah.
Yeah, it was blah. Nah.
Because I feel like if I was like... I would have at least preferred to have hated it.
Yeah.
But I
didn't hate it.
No, I'm just so like...
Boring, isn't it?
I'm annoyed, but not even like... Because, you know, usually I'll come out of it and I'll be like, oh, I feel like something else could have been done. You know, usually I'll be like, oh, I think they should have done this to make it better. But I just don't even know, like, why did that exist?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a case can be made, depending on who you speak to, about, oh, why should any film exist? All films are pointless. But this...
Oh, are you me?
But, like, yeah, yeah. Like, it just, there wasn't even, like, there just wasn't really anything redeeming about it. Because, you know, usually we can come away and be like, you know, Snake Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like, you know, it wasn't, like, Snake Eyes was fine. Like, you know, there was some good bits. Henry Golding was good in it. You know. But even there, it just felt like Dev Patel didn't...
Yeah.
I feel like he didn't even want to really be in it.
There wasn't enough in it for me to be like, oh yeah, well, like, Dev Patel was good in it, though.
Because
like...
he just walked around for a bit.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't even like... The Green Knight looked good?
Did he?
Not really.
Not really.
Like...
I looked a bit plasticky.
Yeah. It was good. It looked better at the start in the dark when he sort of like... I'll give it this. That intro bit was quite good. When the Green Knight walked. That one scene in a 2 hour and 10 minute film was good when he came in. And I was like, ooh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And then it just...
He was just so loud, wasn't he? Like, I
like
get that he's like a tree or whatever, but I'm like, oh God. He's so noisy.
Just creaking all over the shop, wasn't
Yeah.
he? I was like, "Grrr, get some fucking sap in you, man."
Loosen him up.
Yeah, just
Creaking all over the place. Oh, don't.
yeah, I'm actually.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No.
Don't rate.
No.
0. Would not watch again. Would not recommend.
No.
That can stay in the bargain bin.
That can stay on Amazon Prime because I'm not going to watch it again.
Yeah.
And it's not even worth the effort to try and like argue with people who are like, "Oh, actually, that's the best film I've ever seen. Oh my god, it's amazing. I loved it." I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'll say really, and then I'll go, nah. Well, I don't even want to bother talking to you about it because,
No.
like,
Sometimes I'll be open to
sometimes
a conversation.
Sometimes I'm willing to hear another side of something.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's if a film that I really, really, really dislike or a film that I love, someone's watched it and they've gone, I don't agree with it. And it's like, okay, let's hash it out. Let's talk it out. I'm not even going to bother with that because I'm like...
like we're trying to think of redeeming things and it has been near on impossible. So...
Yeah. I feel like Nomadland was a bit better than that. It's more or less the same thing, wasn't it?
That is saying something.
At least that looked nice.
Yeah.
Because it's the same...
I didn't mind how this looked.
Yeah.
I thought the bits in the nature was pretty. It was pretty.
Hmm.
And the fox.
Yeah, the fox, actually. I like the fox. I didn't even mind it when it started talking. Because it wasn't... Because it didn't feel too... By that point, I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, lay it on me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a bit like Malignant, you know, when you're like...
Yeah.
Sure, but that was like from an enjoyable point of view.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yeah, fuck it,
Like,
whatever.
Give it to me.
Whereas this was just like...
yeah, sure.
This was like...
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's make the fox talk. Cool.
Like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, you've given me a headless ginger person, made him come in his hand and on a rag.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big talking tree thing.
Yeah. Big naked giants.
Oh, yeah. Again, forgot about them. Yeah. Yeah, I'm done.
Bin.
Yeah. And there it was, our driving home review. Very interesting. Was it controversial? Possibly. This is pre-recorded, so deal with it. Anyway, thanks for listening. And if you want to get in touch, give us a follow on Insta, Twitter, or give us a like on Facebook, where we're Driving Home Reviews. It'd be great if you could subscribe and leave a nice juicy 5-star review, and maybe I'll buy you a pint. Is this bribery? Probably. But tune in next time for another Driving Home review. Bye bye!